Welcome to the news on Enyimba TV. We are reaching you from the commercial city of Aba. First, the headlines. NSCDC dismantles reconstructed illegal refinery in Abia. ECOWAS court finds a federal government guilty of rights violation during NSAS protest. Supreme Court grants a local government financial autonomy. Thanks for joining us on the news at this period. My name is Esther Chima. Now the news in details. Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps (NSCDC) has dismantled an illegal refinery in a forest within the Obiakpu, Obuzor communities in Abia State. The operation was carried out by the NSCDC Commandant-General Special Intelligence Squad, acting on credible intelligence. The squad's commander, Appolos Dandaura, said the oil thieves had rebuilt a new illegal refinery at a previously dismantled site. According to a statement by NSCDC National Public Relations Officer CSC Babawale Afolabi, DC Dandaura condemned the persistent actions of those involved in the vandalism of oil pipelines. River State Governor Siminalayi Fubara says his administration has begun preparing the 2025 budget, which will be presented soon. He said the process is ongoing despite calls by the Martin Amewule-led assembly that he could resubmit the 2024 budget proposal. Governor Fubara stated this while addressing a delegation from Eche and Omoma local government areas who paid him a solidarity visit at the government house in Port Harcourt. He told the people to ignore the calls by the Amewule group, saying that they are not legitimate. President Bola Tinubu is directing that all projects that require additional funding, especially major projects of the Ministry of Works, be reviewed to ensure probity, proficiency, and diligence in execution. Minister of Information and National Orientation Mohammed Idris said this while briefing State House correspondents after the Federal Executive Council FEC meeting. He said the council decided to step down projects under the Ministry of Works inherited by the Tinubu administration, which required cost adjustments and variation. He said the president directed that the memos presented to the council by the Minister of Works, David Omahe, be looked at once again so that there will be no further deliberation at the next council meeting. Federal government says its desire to ensure fiscal discipline propelled it to alter the Public Procurement Act before the National Assembly for legislation. Minister of Information and National Orientation Mohammed Idris stated this in Abuja after this week's meeting of the Federal Executive Council FEC. He said the government had noted that the National Council on Procurement had not been performing effective in the last 17 years, hence the need to revisit its provisions to make it relevant. He also said his ministry had briefed a Federal Executive Council on the steps taken against Daily Trust newspaper on its report on the Samoa agreement signed by the government, including writing to industry's own ombudsman with a view to drawing his attention about the disharmony the report has engendered. Chief Whip of the Senate, Ali Ndume, says President Bola Tinubu is not aware that many Nigerians are hungry. Mr. Ndume, who represents Borno South Senatorial District, also claimed that President Tinubu has been caged in the presidential villa and that some forces are preventing well-meaning people from physically discussing the truth with him. The Senate Whip stated this at a briefing with some journalists in his office at the National Assembly complex. He faulted Mr. Tinubu's government on food security and specifically said that the president is not doing anything on the issue. House of Representatives made a U-turn on its call on the federal government to suspend the implementation of the Samoa agreement following the raging allegation of a same-sex clause. The spokesman for the House, Akin Rotimi, said the lawmakers never asked the federal government to suspend the agreement, saying they were misquoted by the media. Rotimi said the House also urged the government to ensure thorough consultations and stakeholder engagement on matters relating to agreement. One of the umbrella bodies for herders in Nigeria, that is the Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria, MACBAN, is applauding President Bola Tinubu for creating a ministry for livestock development in the country. MACBAN President Baba Otman Njezama stated this hours after the president announced the creation of the new ministry. The MACBAN boss commended the president for establishing this ministry at the right time when Nigerians needed it. The Miyetti Allah boss said the potential of livestock has not been tapped like Nigeria's neighbors, but with the ministry, the country will unleash the economic gems of the sector with more jobs created. Community Court of Justice ECOWAS has ruled that the Federal Republic of Nigeria violated the human rights of Obianuju Ude and 2 others. The court found Nigeria in breach of Articles 1, 4, 6, 9, 10 and 11 of the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, especially on the right to life, security of person, freedom of expression, assembly and association, prohibition of torture, the duty of the state to investigate, and the right to effective remedy. The presiding judge, Justice Koroma Shengu, who delivered the judgment, dismissed the allegation that the right to life has guaranteed under Article 4 of the ACPHR is violated. He, however, said that the federal government must pay each applicant 2 million naira as compensation for violations of their security of person, prohibition of torture and cruel, inhuman and degrading treatment, rights to freedom of expression, assembly and association, amongst others. Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Olukayode Ariwola, says the National Judicial Council, NJC, has already activated the process of making errant judges who give misleading and conflicting judgments be made to face the consequence. The CJN spoke at the inauguration of 22 judges for the Court of Appeal at the main courtroom of the Supreme Court of Nigeria in Abuja. He described their conduct as an embarrassment to the judiciary and would not be handled lightly. The new appeal court justices were sworn in alongside 11 new judges for the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT. Part of those sworn in were the wife of the FCT Minister, Eberechi Wike, and Justice Donator Sokoronkwo of the Federal High Court, Abuja, among other judges. The Supreme Court has declared that it is unconstitutional for state governors to hold funds allocated for local government administrations. The 7-man panel, in the judgment delivered by Justice Emmanuel Agim, declared that the 774 local government councils in the country should manage their funds themselves. The Apex Court held that the power of the government is portioned into 3 arms of government: the federal, the state, and the local government. The court further declared that a state government has no power to elect a caretaker committee, and a local government council is only recognizable with a democratically elected government. Justice Agim dismissed the objections filed by state governors. You're watching Enyimba TV News. After the short break, the news continues with foreign, business and sports. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back. Thank you for staying there. Now the rest of the news. Rwanda says it is not required to refund the UK after a multi-million-pound migrant deal between the 2 countries was scrapped. The new UK Prime Minister and Labour Party leader Keir Starmer announced at the weekend that the plan to deport some asylum seekers to Rwanda is dead and buried. The scheme was forged by the previous Conservative government, which since revealing the plan in 2022 has paid Rwanda £240 million. Legal challenges meant the scheme never took off, and the UK expressed hope that some money from the deal could be recouped. The following day, a spokesperson for Rwanda's government told the country state television that paying back the money was never part of the agreement. And now from the business scene, Nigeria has been ranked as the 5th African country hit hardest by the global cost of living crisis as pressure continues to pile on households. Midway into 2024, cost of living index released by Numbeo, A data and research platform, Africa's largest economy, ranks 5th with 31.4, while Cameroon with 37.3 score stands as the country with the highest cost of living crisis in Africa. Zimbabwe, Mauritius and South Africa are ahead of Nigeria. Others in the top 10 category include Ghana with 30.9, Kenya 30.2, Botswana 30.1, Morocco 29.5 and Uganda 29.1 accordingly. To collect data, Numbeo relies on user inputs and manually collected data from authoritative sources such as websites of supermarkets, taxi companies, governmental institutions, newspaper articles, other surveys, etc. Manually collected data from established sources are entered twice per year. And now sports. Abia Warriors have appointed Imama Amapakabo as their new head coach. Amapakabo takes over from Bethel Oji, who led the team to the final of the President Federation Cup last season. Amapakabo, who was formerly with the team in 2022, signed a 2-year deal as head coach. He will be assisted by Bethel Oji, who led the team to the final of the 2024 President Federation Cup final. Recall that in 2022, Amapakabo left the club following the expiration of his contract. And with that sports story, we wrap up this edition of the news on Enyimba TV at this time. But before we go, here is a recap of the top stories. NSCDC dismantles reconstructed illegal refinery in Abia. ECOWAS court finds Nigerian government guilty of right violation during NSAS protest. Supreme Court grants local government financial autonomy. Now that's our package of the news for now. Please join us for more updates in our subsequent bulletins. Meanwhile, don't forget to subscribe to this channel on YouTube. Click on the notification bell to receive alerts when new videos are uploaded. Thanks for watching. On behalf of the news production crew, my name is Esther Chima. I appreciate you for watching.